Welcome back to the Alternate History channel, where we uncover the untold stories of what-if scenarios that could have dramatically reshaped our world. Today, we're diving into a pivotal moment at the turn of the 20th century. What if President William McKinley had survived his assassination attempt in 1901? In this episode, we'll explore the ripple effects of this single event on the United States, from the immediate aftermath involving key figures like Theodore Roosevelt, to the long-term impacts on domestic and foreign policy, and the course of the progressive movement. If you're fascinated by how history could have unfolded differently, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with fellow history enthusiasts. Let's embark on this journey through an alternate American history together. At the turn of the 20th century, America was navigating a period of profound transformation, marked by its rapid industrialization, complex social dynamics, and an assertive stance on the global stage. President William McKinley, re-elected for a second term, epitomized the era's conservative values, championing economic policies that favored growth and expansion, while his administration's foreign policy initiatives underscored America's emerging imperial ambitions. However, beneath the surface of prosperity and national achievement, discontent brewed, particularly among those influenced by the international anarchist movement, which sought to overturn the existing order through acts of violence, including targeting political leaders. The year 1901 saw McKinley attending the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York, a celebration of progress and innovation. It was here that McKinley's presidency, and indeed the very course of American history's gawky steep, would face a critical test. An anarchist, Leon Czolgosz, shot McKinley, an act that not only aimed to assassinate a leader, but also to challenge the stability of the nation. Historically, McKinley's doctors were able to remove one bullet, but the second bullet remained elusive, leading to complications that ultimately resulted in his death. This tragedy marked a turning point, propelling Theodore Roosevelt into the presidency and with him, a new era of progressive reforms. In our alternate history, however, the narrative diverges at this crucial juncture. Among the technological wonders on display at the exposition was an X-ray machine, a novel invention at the time. In this reimagined scenario, the decision is made to utilize the X-ray to locate the second bullet, a decision grounded in optimism for the new century's scientific promise. The successful use of the X-ray machine to find and remove the second bullet represents a pivotal moment, not just for McKinley but for medical science itself. McKinley's recovery, facilitated by this advanced technology, becomes a testament to the era's faith in progress and innovation. In the wake of President McKinley's recovery, the nation breathes a collective sigh of relief. The successful removal of the second bullet, a feat made possible by the pioneering use of the X-ray machine, not only heralds a new chapter in medical history, but also reinvigorates the American spirit, imbuing it with a renewed faith in progress and the potential of technology. As McKinley convalesces, the nation watches closely, his recovery symbolizing the resilience of the American presidency. During this period of recuperation, McKinley reflects on his narrow escape from death, a contemplation that deepens his resolve to guide the nation with a steadier hand. Upon his return to office, McKinley is greeted with bipartisan support, his ordeal having galvanized a sense of national unity. This renewed mandate enables him to pursue his agenda with increased vigor, focusing on economic expansion and asserting America's influence abroad with a newfound legitimacy. Theodore Roosevelt, the dynamic vice president known for his progressive ideals and charismatic leadership, finds himself at a crossroads. Roosevelt, who had been preparing to step into the presidency, remains vice president. While some might expect frustration from Roosevelt, he instead channels his energies into leveraging his position to advocate for reform within the McKinley administration. Recognizing the potential for a future bid for the presidency, Roosevelt embarks on a nationwide speaking tour, promoting American nationalism and the virtues of progressive governance, thus laying the groundwork for his eventual rise to the presidency. Leon Czolgosz, whose act of violence had failed to achieve its intended outcome, faces swift justice. His trial becomes a focal point for national debates on free speech, radicalism, and the limits of political dissent. Ultimately, Czolgosz's conviction and subsequent punishment serve as a stern warning against political violence leading to increased security measures for public officials and a re-evaluation of laws pertaining to anarchist activities. The assassination attempt, paradoxically, leads to a decrease in public sympathy for anarchist causes. The American public, while valuing freedom of speech and political activism, largely recoils from the tactics employed by extremists. This shift in public sentiment prompts a crackdown on anarchist groups, with legislation introduced to monitor and restrict their activities. Meanwhile, progressive movements seek to distance themselves from anarchism, focusing instead on achieving reform through democratic means. The successful use of the X-ray in McKinley's treatment sparks a revolution in medical technology, with hospitals and clinics across the country adopting the technology. This period sees a surge in investment in medical research, leading to advancements in diagnostic tools and surgical techniques. The McKinley incident, thus, serves as a catalyst for the modernization of American healthcare, impacting countless lives in the years to come. McKinley's continued presidency sees the consolidation of American territories acquired during his first term. Without the abrupt shift in leadership, McKinley's more conservative approach to foreign policy prevails, focusing on economic diplomacy and the strengthening of America's naval power. The absence of Roosevelt's big stick diplomacy leads to a more cautious American stance on the global stage, particularly in dealings with Latin America and the emerging tensions in Europe. In the realm of domestic policy, McKinley's survival means the slower advancement of the progressive reforms that came to define the early 20th century under Roosevelt. McKinley, though not opposed to reform, favoured a more gradual approach to addressing issues such as labour rights, monopolies, and public health. Without Roosevelt's aggressive pursuit of antitrust actions, the monopolistic practices of large corporations might have persisted longer, delaying the establishment of regulations that aimed to protect workers and consumers. However, McKinley's emphasis on economic stability and growth could have fostered a more robust industrial base, with investments in infrastructure and technology bolstering the United States' position as an industrial leader. This focus might have resulted in a stronger economy in the short term, but at the potential cost of exacerbating social inequalities and environmental degradation. Under McKinley, the United States foreign policy would likely continue along the lines of cautious expansionism and economic imperialism. McKinley's approach to foreign affairs, exemplified by the annexation of territories following the Spanish-American War, focused on extending American influence through diplomacy and commerce rather than military intervention. Without Roosevelt's big stick diplomacy, the United States might have been less assertive in its dealings with Latin American countries and in the pursuit of the Panama Canal, a project that symbolized American ingenuity and power. The slower pace of American expansion could have altered the balance of power in the Western Hemisphere, potentially affecting relationships with European powers and influencing the geopolitical landscape in the lead-up to World War I. One of the most notable absences in a world where McKinley's presidency continues would be the lack of emphasis on environmental conservation that became a hallmark of Roosevelt's tenure. McKinley's industrial and economic policies did not prioritize the preservation of natural resources. As a result, the United States might have seen a delayed emergence of the national park system and conservation efforts, impacting the nation's environmental legacy and its natural landscapes. The trajectory of the progressive movement and the shaping of American social policies would also differ significantly. Without the catalyzing force of Roosevelt's presidency, movements for social justice, labor rights and women's suffrage might have evolved differently, encountering more resistance without the executive support they enjoyed under Roosevelt. Moreover, the political landscape could have been altered, with McKinley's Republican Party potentially solidifying its position and influencing the direction of American politics for decades. The absence of Roosevelt's charismatic leadership and progressive policies might have led to a more conservative political climate, delaying significant social reforms and altering the development of the American political spectrum. In sum, the continuation of William McKinley's presidency would have steered the United States along a more conservative and cautious path, both at home and abroad. While his policies might have fostered economic growth and stability, the delay in progressive reforms, environmental conservation, and assertive foreign policy initiatives would have fundamentally altered the American narrative. The long-term impacts of McKinley's extended tenure would be felt in the fabric of American society, its political institutions, and its role on the world stage, painting a picture of a nation with different priorities and challenges as it navigated the complexities of the 20th century. As we wrap up our exploration into a world where President William McKinley survived, we've glimpsed how a single moment could diverge American history onto a markedly different path. This alternate timeline, stretching from McKinley's recovery to the broader strokes of his continued presidency, sheds light on the intricate dance between leadership, innovation, and the wheels of progress. Through this journey, we're reminded of history's fluid nature, shaped by individual actions and pivotal decisions. It's a testament to the impact of leadership on a nation's destiny, offering a rich ground for reflection on the countless what-ifs that dot our past. Thank you for traveling through this fascinating slice of alternate history with us. If this episode piqued your curiosity, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and share. Your support fuels our quest for untold stories and unexplored scenarios. Stay tuned for more thought-provoking journeys into the past.